Hey guys, Mr. Kennedy back again with plants, and this is part 3, which is going to be talking about angiosperm reproduction. And remember, angiosperms are flowers or plants that have flowers or fruit. Now, when we talk about angiosperms, we have to talk about the flower structure. And as you can see up here, they can be either what's called a complete flower, which they have sepals. Sepals are these tiny leaves underneath the flower. Petals, which are the colorful part of the flower, which we all like. Stamen is the male part of the flower, and the stamen is made of the anther and the filament. This is where pollen comes from. The carpel, it contains the stigma, the style, and the ovary, which is the female part of the flower. Now, incomplete flowers would lack one of these structures, so you might hear of a complete flower or incomplete flower later on. Now, when we look at it, both have, in angiosperms, you have a male and a female gametophyte, which is the haploid form. In females, the haploid gametophyte is an ovule, and in males, the male gametophyte is pollen, and pollen comes at the end of the anther. Now, when we talk about pollination, pollination is simply the transfer of pollen from an anther to a stigma. And pollen transfer can occur in basically 3 ways. It can occur by wind, such as the dandelion down here at the bottom. It can occur in the water, actually sperms swimming through the water, such as the lily pads down here. Or it can occur by animals, bees, hummingbirds, etc. Now, when we look at it, we think about pollination, we have a thing called coevolution that could occur as well, in which 2 species that interact, like pollinating and getting nectar, co-evolved, such as this picture down here at the bottom. I think this is a Madagascar fly, but you can see how its snout looks like it perfectly fits in with the cone shape of this flower. It's like they were made for each other. So that's coevolution. So when 2 species interact so much that they each, in response to the selection imposed by the other, is what causes them to evolve. Now, in angiosperms, they have a unique fertilization pattern called double fertilization. So this is important. Pollen grain consists of 2 parts. So the pollen grain, remember, is the sperm, the male gamete. It contains 2 parts. It contains a tube cell, which is the thing that actually creates the tube. So if you think about the carpel kind of looks like a bowling pin. Well, the tube cell, when it lands here, the tube cell is what's going to grow the shoot all the way from the top of the stigma all the way down to the ovule down here so that sexual reproduction can occur. The second part of a pollen grain is going to be a generative cell. Wow. It divides actually into 2 cells by mitosis, which forms 2 sperm. One will fertilize the egg in the ovule, and the other one will combine with a 2-polar nuclei that forms a triploid, a 3N nucleus, and this will actually give rise to the endosperm. The endosperm is the food storing part of the seed. So, if you think about a seed, you're going to have an embryo in here, and the rest of the seed is going to be the endosperm. So it actually splits. This is called double fertilization because, you have not only the fertilization of the egg, but you also have the 2-polar nuclei are formed with this sperm to make a triploid endosperm that creates food storage later on in the seed. Now, fruit is another important aspect of angiosperms. Fruit are the seeds develop from the ovules, right? The ovary of the flower develops into the fruit. So if you look here, you can see in this tomato, you can see the seeds, and then you have the fruit around it, right? And it protects the seeds, and it also helps in dispersal because animals would eat the fruit. They also eat the seeds, and they're going to defecate it out somewhere else, and instant fertilizer, new locations explored, etc. Now, a unique characteristic of seeds, sometimes they can lay dormant. This is an adaptation for tough times. Seeds lay dormant until the conditions are just right. Enough water, enough sunlight, some kind of event occurs, whatever, that they know they can be successful. Some seeds can lay dormant for days. Some seeds can lay dormant for years. There was one seed, I can't remember the exact name, that was unearthed, I think, in Solomon's tomb, 2,000 years old, and it still germinated into a certain palm. I think it's a sago palm. But anyway, dormancy seeds can lay until it's just right for them to emerge. Now, I hope that helps you with the understanding of angiosperms, and I will talk to you very soon.